options here, like from Arkosh's lineup, but I don't think we're gonna see anything too crazy. Like, you know, they could flex a lot of the stuff, but I think it is just gonna be this straightforward, you know, Gremlo probably on the axe. I would assume that this is actually gonna be Pale Horse on the Leshrac. I think they are going to take this to the safe lane, and we're going to be seeing a Canis Vulpus pick for the mid lane. We've seen them do this a few times, but it's hard to say what they end up wanting to do here. They have last pick here in phase 2 on DogChamp. I mean, it's got to be the... I imagine you just take your safe lane matchup, right? You see the Axe and the Lina, and you don't have last pick, so you might as well just grab it here before they ban out, you know, the last few good counters to the Axe, right?
Yeah, and they could definitely just look to go for something that deals with the Axe in lane. There are a couple of melee heroes that can get that done. You could maybe play with Jug, but they go with the Slaughter here, playing with a minus armor. So TA plus Slaughter, Corrosive Haze plus Sideblades flying through. A lot of physical burst on hand for DogChamp to play with. This could enable, say, a pocket pick at the end. Something like a PA could slide through here if you really wanted to go all in. I think you'd worry about that into Axe. So you might want to opt for something a bit safer there. We'll see if DogChamp opts for that. But Arkosh have to watch themselves. They can protect against magic damage really nicely. They've got a disarm as well in the Oracle, but this is still a really scary set of bursts from DogChamp. They've got Finger, and they've got the Enabler for the Slaughter on the TA. There's a lot that they can do, and they can play really fast. For Arkosh, they've got some pretty quick timings as well, but it's not exactly as explosive, and you do rely on that Axe maybe finding a quick blink time here to get some good calls.
So if you're Arkosh here, you're looking at what's going to be an absolutely like incredibly difficult high physical damage dealing lineup here so far from the side of DogChamp. Typically, the solution to this is to pick natively extremely high armor heroes where this minus armor isn't super effective. The first thing that comes to my mind from the safe lane are things like Terrorblade, which actually does fight pretty well into both of these heroes. The other one, you know, obviously is Dragon Knight, or Dragon Knight for like a mid lane if they wanted to take DK mid. There's the Terrorblade ban. So I was gonna say, I think the best pick here for Arkosh would have been this TB safe lane because they have no answer for Terrorblade within their current lineup. So they could still try and go DK in the mid lane and play just behind this DK Lesh that are just going to do incredible tower push. Also a hero that pairs really well with the Oracle. I'm wondering if that's the kind of avenue they go for here, but they have last pick. So Arkosh will be able to see the full draft that they're dealing with here. The safe lane from DogChamp is going to be a big deal when it comes to figuring out this last pick. I think ban wise, yeah, Ursa makes the most sense for sure. Okay.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of physical cores for DogChamp to play with. I think for Arkosh, then you are out of like that Terrorblade, which would have been big. They have the option for maybe Medusa. Now it's a bit awkward into line because once he gets Ag Shard, he will just kind of suck you dry in the back line.
Yeah,
but it is durable. It's gonna prevent you from being bursted. Still combines with Oracle nicely. Plays with Axe really nice as well. They could look for that, but DogChamp go into the Ricky. So this is a big way to just not care about the Axe at all. Pop into the tricks at the right time. You get a good silence off to control the Leshrac and Lina. You've got the minus armor to help you deal that early damage. And you can even build the diffusal if the Medusa comes out. So you have even a consistent way of burning through a pocket Medusa pick here from Arkosh. DogChamp really just tying in their draft really well. And Arkosh, I mean, they get to the last pick here, but it feels like their options are rather limited from the picks they made on their draft. Like having Axe Lesh just locks you into a certain playstyle here.
My initial thought was, you know, maybe they could go double back for like the Venomancer carry that they've done in previous games, because against, you know, TA and Slardar, it is pretty rough, at least until they have the BKBs. But against a Ricky, it is so it is miserable. Like that pairing is so rough. Yeah. So it is going to be Canis Vulpus on the Ember mid. This is what I, you know, was talking about earlier, where they could just flex Pale Horse onto this Leshrac. They'll go the Canis Vulpus mid lane, And this is bold because you're picking Ember Spirit into a Riki, which is traditionally any of the Spirit heroes into a Riki is an incredibly difficult game. And quick trigger warning for everyone who's watching. I'm going to say Riki Maru multiple times in this game. It just happens. So don't be mad. It's going to happen. Just accept it. It's the same hero. It is what it is. What do you think, John, here? Who has this draft advantage?
I think DogChamp look a lot nicer. They've got some smooth timings to meet. We've seen Lisa play his TA already to a really great effect. I think the matchup against Ember, can be a bit tougher because of that Flame Guard. Burning through your refraction, he can play around with Sleight of Fist to dodge out your harassment as well early on and kind of run you down early while your range isn't that big. But I think overall the synergy we're seeing from DogChamp is just that much stronger. They've got Physical Burst with Corrosive Haze. They've got Magical Burst with their line. They've got saves from their Abaddon as well to kind of prevent one here from being held down. For Arkosh, they need to melt towers quick. Like, they absolutely have to melt these tier 1s, I'd say, by the 15-minute mark. You want to start knocking some tier 2s down, latest by the 20-minute mark. And you have to go from there. You need to shut down that map, prevent the Riki and the TA from farming. And that's easier said than done. I mean, we saw DogChamp still stall out well enough to buy Ray Lisa's space out in game number 2. I think they could easily get that done again in game 3.
Yep. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's the last game tonight of the NA DPC. Plenty of chat lines coming out. Both teams ready to go as we talked about, one of the most important games for Arkosh altogether. And the way that this affects the standings, we've kind of briefly touched on it, but Arkosh with this victory could potentially force a 3-way tiebreaker for first place. So right now it is D2 Hustlers at the very top of the bracket at 6-0, right? And Team DogChamp just behind them at 5-0, and Arkosh in third at 4-1. So if they win this game, Team DogChamp and Arkosh both go to 5-1. So it is important. If Arkosh want any chance of making it to D1, this is the best chance they're gonna get.
Yeah, they've got to win this one for a clear path. If they lose here, there's still a possibility, I think, but it's going to be a bit tricky.
It forces DogChamp to have to lose their last 2 games.
Yeah, they'd have to rely on that, which is not ideal. You want to have control for your path up. So Arkosh, the Demons will have to pull their A game out. We'll have to see maybe Canis Vulpes take less of an aggressive stance. We saw him in Storm last time. He was just always diving in, and you really can't do that, and you have to worry about the line once more, but the Riki as well.
Yeah.
Not comfy for you to play with. So let's see if Canis Vulpes reels that aggression back down a bit and plays a bit more calm in this game.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm looking at this. I was double looking at the standings. I don't think Arkosh can go to Division 1 if they lose this series. I think it's guaranteed to be DogChamp and D2 Hustlers. It just is a matter of who gets first and who gets second. I think Arkosh has to get the win here because they'll go 4-2 and they'll have 1 series left, but you'll have 2 teams at 6-0, which means their final score can only be 6-1.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll have to see if Arkosh can do it. Upper division chance on the line. Already seeing that lanes pop out. Of course, up top, you've got Creep on the Riki, Bloody 9 on the Abaddon. They are laning against the Axe here, played by Gremlo and Crow on the Lina. Should be a fairly stable lane. You can see Crow just harassing out with the LSA and right-click spam. Does not have a Blightstone to start with, so there's no big damage output yet. At the same time, they're not really able to bully out Gremlo. He goes in, grabs an early Ring of Health, nothing else. So he's just got natural regen to play with. Not really too much damage output from a Riki and Abaddon early, though, so this could work out well.
I've actually seen Gremlo do this before when he was playing Pudge with the sniper off lane, and he just started the game 0 items and got a Ring of Health, and went back to lane.
Yeah, it's a very Dota 1 thing kind of deal.
It
That's
is,
just what I recall.
yeah.
You just don't go with regen. You come in, you get a Ring of Health, but you used to rush, like, say, a Perseverance because you wanted some mana as well. Probably not going to see that still.
Do you remember when Percy used to give damage?
Oh, yeah.
For no reason, it just gave 10 damage. Those were the days.
Yeah, you just stack up the Perseverances. I think you'd see I think it was OD Pixel, one of his first games in Dota. It was actually like 5 perseverances or something like that.
I used to build triple Percy on Storm mid. It was like actually just not, it wasn't even bad. Like that was what was so funny about it, is like you just go perseverance on Storm Spear and have like 30 extra damage for no reason.
Oh yeah, and all the region in the world.
Yeah.
So, you can already see Gremlo cutting the wave. Creep is still finding a lot of last hits though, so you're not stopping the Ricky from finding his farm. You are trying to get that good start on your axe, and as long as Gremlo meets this Vanguard timing, I think you're going to be pretty happy with the lane. So we'll see if Bloody Nine can really do anything to stop this. As a lowly Abaddon, you can't really do
He's taking
much,
a
even if you get
ton
that
of damage.
Oh yeah.
He does have to be careful of Gremlo getting these counter helixes off. And well, with creep rotating over, Gremlo might be the one that ends up falling here. Oh, he misses the call. Nice tricks of the trade. And as a result, that's going to be your first blood going to the Ricky in the safe lane. That feels very good.
Bit too aggressive. Way too aggressive from Gremlo. He really needs the Vanguard to dive that deep. Crow was not in position as well, as he was going for a bit of a pull, just contesting this large camp. So you don't get your full damage output as well, and that sets DogChamp up really nicely up top. They're all holding the lane steady. They're going to get some initial farm. Down mid, it's looking better for Canis Vulpus. He's had a 10 CS lead, so it's a massive amount of farm and EXP for Canis Vulpus over Reylisa. Reylisa still trying to hold the lane, but you've got a lot of ways to burn through the early refraction from TA.
Ooh, two-man call top.
Searing Chains up. Oh.
Can they get creep? He's going to get the Aphotic Shield off. Crow's got an LSA in 1 second, but he's not going to make it in range. Okay. I mean, look at the health bars on DogChamp right now. All of their lanes getting bullied. Reylisa gonna bottle up and he's ready to come back mid though.
I think the one thing right now for DogChamp is that they've already expended 2 salves from Bloody Nine, so he's kind of out of regen. He's ferrying out some new sets right now. You have to be a bit cautious in this downtime. You can definitely look to bully on Arkosh, and I love what Reylisa is doing here though. He grabs the bounty, he goes for the camps, he's clearing out, and this is one way for the TA to compensate for that slower lane. You just clear out camps and go back and forth with the bounty, snatching it away, and Canis Vulpus can't really stop you. He just wants to focus on his own lane creeps, and Reylisa, that just means he's really not lagging too far behind despite that deficit in creep farm.
Yeah, he's not going to be as farmed in CS, but he won't be able to keep up in net worth like by doing this for now, because the jungle creeps really are not worth as much as those lane creeps, and Canis Vulpus is CSing this mid near perfectly. I mean, he's at 31 CS almost at 5 minutes if he gets this range creep. Well, instead, Slight Chain's going to be able to push Reylisa back, so he's going to be forced to walk away. Pro top lane, maybe in some trouble here, as Ricky, trying to stay on top of him, does get a little bit of regen from that tree. Okay, 2 heroes die bottom. Jabaited.
Yeah, it's a nice kill on the Lush. Not quite. I didn't quite catch it.
I was like, did you happen to catch that one at all? I did not. I mean, that's still a big win. Yaren getting the kill first there on the Pale Horse is huge.
Yeah, you don't get the EXP on the Lush. You really want as much as possible from this lane. You're kind of lagging behind in CS as well for the Lush rack. So it's not a great feeling for Pale Horse. Luki's just doing quite nicely. He's at level 4. He's got the level 2 Bash for Deep. So if you do overcommit, you can get run down. Goat is going to have to be on point with when he uses that Fate's Edict for the disarm. For Arkosh up top, though, they've finally got the Vanguard up on Gremlo. So he can go for those aggressive plays a lot more safely now, despite that Orb of Corrosion being up on Creep. It's just going to focus on being efficient with the camps, just getting as much farm as possible, but it's not as much gold as you'd expect here for Gremlo. Like, you are keeping up on this Ricky.
Yeah. Top lane, LSA comes out, but B9 with the saves. He is pretty... You're right. Yeah, he is pretty farmed. All 3 lanes really are. The only one who is even just like remotely behind would be Luki on the Slardar, but the top 6 here, as far as their comparisons in lane, are very even.
Yeah, it's just much more conservative start. You are seeing some commitment mid though, but
they do this every time. They did this exact move last game. where they bring the supports in, and now Yarn, he's gonna be the one that's caught out. The Flame Guard just gonna burn him down. Goat ends up sniping the kill with the Purifying Flames, and it begins Goat's journey to 10-1-14, round 2.
Yeah, we'll see if you can hit that timing. A really nice thing you can get done as well with Lina up at level 4. You've got the Fiery Soul. So you just spam your spells out, clear out the tree line, and start going for a push. They even drag Pale Horse in, 4 heroes at mid at 7 minutes in just to get the tier 1.
It's worth
and
it.
If DogChamp loses this, they don't have an area to farm with a TA. It's just less safe in the jungle now.
This is what they need to be doing, honestly. We talked about having this Leshrac. You have to be able to take objectives with it. It was one of the things I was wondering, you know, if they're going to go back for like a DK or something. Ember Spirit, he can't take towers, but he secures objectives, right? That's one of the differences with this like Spirit hero as opposed to like Storm Spirit. And you can play incredibly aggressive. Ember Spirit has really strong power spikes. He's gonna look for Rayla Lisa here in the jungle. That damage from the Flame Guard is gonna start adding up, and Pale Horse with the rotation over. They take down Rayla Lisa, a big kill. Yaren getting quite lucky there as he finds an Invis rune.
It's a nice kill. You're slowing down the TA. You're starting to see a bit of a net worth difference now between these cores. Like, it's not big yet, but Gremlo's say 300 gold above Creep. Canis Vulpus is about 300 gold above release as well, and if they keep that pace up and keep building up, it could get dicey for DogChamp.
This is a big kill in the bottom lane. Luki was getting a lot of solo experience down here, and a cheeky TP in from Crow. It's that long-range light strike array, and just an easy follow-up. You've got so much stun between Leshrac and Lina, and then even Oracle with the root from Fortune's End, so there's just no chance he gets out of there.
Yeah. Forward movement out is from Arkosh as well, trying to go for those bounties. They dropped a ward, but it's spotted by a sentry. So DogChamp are going to be able to take that vision out. I think if you're on Arkosh's end, you really want to keep control in this triangle. There's a pretty nice stack of Ancients there. Not massive, but still a good gold injection for the TA to eventually dip into.
They have to know there's a ward up here. Yeah, Baden in some trouble though, not able to survive. Photic Shield helped him out for a moment, but the LSA does the damage, and Oracle, can he get the false promise off? He does, just barely, and now Creep. He's gonna have to back out of here, I think. LSA on the money, Pale Horse out of mana, but the Searing Chains are there. Can they finish off the Ricky? No, he makes it up onto the high ground, and now it's a disaster for Arkosh as they all start to fall one by one. You bring 5 to the fight here on DogChamp, and you come out really far ahead.
They play that one really well. They get the punishment onto Arkosh. Arkosh, that was them forcing a fight under Vision. They felt like they were safe because they thought they had Vision advantage. Not quite. They only find an Abaddon for their trouble. The one blessing is that Gremlo's getting free space up top, shoving the top tier 1.
He's going the Manta build, man.
DogChamp.
He's doing it.
Yeah, he's going for that. Gotta see the Actred come in at the 20-minute mark, but this could be big. Although they are charging bot.
They caught Ricky. Creep. He's got a Blink Strike out, or he's in trouble. No, a perfectly timed Dragon Slave.
Ooh, so close as well. Like, they get the Corrosive Haze plus the tricks off, but an Orb of Corrosion. Pale Horse drops really low, so he's got to be careful with how far forward he is up front.
Ooh, a two-man LSA. The Split Earth comes out. Oh, Laguna Blade from Crow. Goodbye, Abaddon. They're going to keep chasing. They take down the Lion. Leshrac starting to be in a little bit of trouble here, but the nice disarm played well from Goat. Once again, they're looking for more. They take down 3. Oh, man. DogChamp with the Save Your Friend syndrome.
Oh, yeah. They don't really jump in time. It just not quite it coming out from DogChamp. You saw Creep come in at the last minute with the TP, but again, just not early enough to really have the damage output, and they drop a lot of heroes there. It's big wins for Arkosh, 9-5, 2k lead. They're going to force the bot tier 1, and they're taking out all the tier 1s to be mentioned. Like, this is what we wanted to see by the 15-minute mark. Starting to take control of the map. Gremlo is alone, and they are making ways up top, though.
That is true. I mean, this would be a big kill. The question is, can they actually get to him? It's Yaren on the bottom side that he's going to walk right into, and as a result, I think that is going to be a dead Gremlo. I mean, you're forcing a lot to the top lane here for this. They are TPing everyone in, but the Finger of Death will secure it. cancel that second TP, and maybe they look for Riki in the mid lane as an exchange. Canis, Vulpes, and Crow not too far away, but Creep playing over on the side of the lane, very smart.
Just staying safe. Still needs some time here in Riki to really start popping off. He did not opt for Wraith Bands. He's going to have to rely on that diffusal timing. I think if he went double Wraith Band into Orb Corrosion, you could play a bit more aggressive with the added stats and it's a little bit more damage you get. But without it, you're just waiting for some farm here. So a bit more patience required for DogChamp. Raylalisa is still getting some good farm build-up. Desolator's up now. You should look to play with that burst potential on the physical end. With a Curse of Haze plus Deso, plus the side blades and meld armor reduction, it is big from the side of DogChamp.
It really is. Ooh. All right, they get the D-Ward. That's a value use of the Psionic Trap, if I've ever seen one. Top lane, they're looking for Gremlo once again, but the cavalry is coming. It actually smoked up for this. Goat trying to get here. Can they actually find anyone, though? Doesn't look like it. The rest of DogChamp all disengaging here on the high ground. Canis Volp's gonna walk right into them. He doesn't have a Remnant out, so he does need to be a little careful, but with Goat behind him, he's feeling so strong, and he's gonna give it up. He is too afraid. Oh, Pale Horse, you gotta be careful.
Yeah. Went in for the solo defense. All the lines broken up. Arkosh is still looking.
Ooh, that trap.
There.
In comes Creep. The silence onto Oracle, and he just goes down. No chance in hell you're getting out of there. And Yaren with the follow-up. They're gonna get two. A really sick play, and now Crow on the run. LSA does connect, but it don't matter. Triple kill for Creep on the Riki. Oh my god, Yaren.
He's feeling it. And Arkosh, a bit too aggressive. They don't respect the vision game from DogChamp. They had wards on ramp. They don't expect the TA traps to be as devastating as they are, but with that slow just playing into the silence of Riki, it just feels like the ag shard issue we saw in the last game from Raylalisa. They clear out the mid, gives them a lot more room to farm now, a lot more safety here, perhaps even opening up a Roshan possibility. With that Desolator up on Raylalisa, I think they should look at that objective. And they get a nice DD for Raylalisa as well. We saw that last game, where he just constantly found some DDs before big fights. Arkosh, they still have some slight net worth lead, but they gotta be cautious about these power spikes here.
Oh, Gremlo gotta be sweating bottom right now as he's able to break the ankles of Luki here on the Slardar. Catches an Earth Spike there from the Lion and a little love tap as Luki now slithers away. Looks like the rest of the team should be able to make it. Creep, however, cancels his TP. Looks like they are going to choose to fight here. LSA on the fight. They actually fake it. Creep thought he was unseen, but he gets saved thanks to B9. They take down the Lina, but a lot of damage coming in from Canis, Vulpes, and Pale Horses. They take down the big one. That's going to be TA. And on the backside, Luki tries to get Goat, but unable to connect on the kill.
That's huge. Like, you kill the highest net worth. Sure, you let the Riki off, but Raylalisa is the big issue in these fights. The Desolator is coming through. It's too much damage. And you find a kill. You trade your Lina away for two. You're going to feel great. You get some control back on bot.
He's going to do it. Oh, the Eul's dodge! Oh my god, Pale Horse is too good, baby. Not today. Not the... Okay, honestly, that is just greed from Yaren. He could have Earth Spiked from the high ground or even just opened Hex into Finger of Death, but he... Oh, man.
Heal Horse.
That is so good.
My god. That is so on the edge. Living through. And DogChamp. Well, they're going to be down Finger for 2 minutes. Could open up some more aggression from Arkosh, not have to worry about that burst. And for DogChamp, they lose their opportunity to rush. Their top lane's being shoved in. The jungle's now warded up. So if they were looking for that quick objective to take, it's going to be scouted out by the Vision here more than likely. They've got the Blink up in Yaren though, so you can still gap close, get an instant Hex and Earth Spike off. But the Mantis up in Gremlo, and he's just saving up for the Ag Shard next. So once you hit that 20-minute mark, the Axe is going to be really annoying with the spin to win.
Oh, it's so, I love this build. I think it's so epic because it's one of those things where they've definitely been trying to make this a thing for so long, right? Like adding the attacks proc counter helix, giving me an attack speed talent. They're like, okay, we think Axe could be pretty dope like this. And then they realize, you know, shards come out. Hey, what if we just combined both talents into a shard and then made it better? Pretty dope, it turns out.
Very, very dope. And Gremlin was still really riding that farm train. He's actually prioritized on his team. Top of net worth for Arkosh. Pale Horse and Canis Vulpus kind of taking the back seat. They do have some decent item spikes out. Blade Mail's up in Canis Vulpus. The Leshrac still saving up here. Already has the casual Ghost Scepter to save from that physical output. So you've got some protection up, and they're taking tier 2s. It's right around that time where they should. Right before 20 minutes. Look for the top tier 2. Shut down that jungle and limit the space for Rayla, Lisa, and Creep. And there's not too much space out to farm. Creep's got his diffusal up, which means he wants to fight, but he can't really find the angles just yet.
It's difficult too because Luki went for this Hand of Midas as opposed to getting like an early Blink Dagger, and that means your initiation is basically Rayla, Lisa, or Yaren, right? And Slardar he's just kind of there to throw Corrosive Hazes out at this point, right? Like he's not getting in on top of some of these heroes in these fights.
Yeah, it's just not as impactful when your Slaughter can't start it. You just don't get the max impact that you'd expect, and it just holds back on the aggression for DogChamp. So still rather an even game though. 11 to 10, 1k lead for Arkosh. They do get some control back, but ramp ward around Roshan. I think that should be something DogChamp plays into. Like, it should be a bit safer. They could expend the smoke into Rosh. It melts really fast with TA Slardar. I'm not sure why they haven't opted for it yet. Like, maybe they're just paying respect towards the counterfight of Arkosh, but it feels like they're kind of playing scattered and just trying to stall the game out after taking these towers.
Yeah, that's what it does look like, and that's the thing when, you know, looking at this, you know, Midas from Luki, it's his. He looks at this game and recognizes, like, okay, they're going Manta Axe. They're not going to be looking to fight for probably 10 more minutes, right? Like when he picked it up. So he's just going to get a little bit more net worth, or evening the playing field on his net worth, because he was so far behind comparatively. So this Midas does actually end up kind of paying itself off just in that respect, but you know, for the over the next 20 minutes will definitely help him out quite a bit.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty big once it starts to spit out that blink. Maybe rush into the Ags as well, or even just the Ag shard would be really nice for Luki's initiation after that blink. So just a little bit more time needed there. They take control back in the jungle, get some more wards up top, and this time around it should be a lot more open into the Rosh pit. They haven't even been able to get some traps. Or at least they're just not playing in the area. They are just giving some time out to Arkosh to keep the farm game up. Ag shard flying out for Gremlo. So there's that spin to win ready on the Axe.
Very excited.
And that's when it gets a bit scary. I mean, he's got the Yasha, he's got the timings you need to meet on the Axe to get this working.
So we'll
see if it's gonna have the big impact.
I wanted to ask you about this. So Pale Horse is going for the Aghanim Scepter for Nihilism, and it is a pretty heavy counter to all 3 cores on the side of DogChamp, but you also do have this Axe where you kind of get this counter synergy. He's picked up a Ghost Scepter on Pale Horse, and then once you have Nihilism as well, I mean, I feel like that's gotta be good, right? It's gotta feel pretty strong, right? Oracle, though, caught out for a moment. Finger of Death is available, but the Hex, a couple auto attacks from Creep should allow them to find that kill.
Yeah, I think the Nihilism is still going to be useful. You just have to really communicate well. In that initiation, DogChamp are going into that Roshan. Again, it doesn't last long with Corrosive Haze. -31 armor on Roshan. First Aegis of game going the way of Real Lisa to protect that TA. So Arkosh have to watch themselves now. It's going to be a bit risky going into these fights.
Luki misses the crush, but a nice slight change there from Canis Vulpus might give Crow some range to get on out of here. Gremlo rotating it on the Axe, and obviously just an illusion, but he's about to have a blink himself. Axe is catching up to TA at this point. Okay, Crow does end up dying. He tried.
Yeah, it's not the biggest kill, but still Nice pickup for the side of DogChamp. You have to worry about Ray Lisa hitting this timing though. Ags up on the TA. You can be all over the place with your traps. Once you get the Ag Shard on top of that, if you want to opt for it, the silence is just going to ruin these fights once more. For Arkosh, we saw that be a massive factor in those engagements. DogChamp, they are smoked up. They've got Aegis, they've got Finger gone, but they've got the control ready to go. They want to keep finding these kills to prevent Arkosh
go.
from
The disarm though. He's dead. He's not getting out of there. Leshrac, though, might be a different story if he can escape. Does get that Yules out onto the Slardar, but these slows from Creep, way too much control. Gremlin on the backside, he catches line. He actually misses that Coaling Blade, and as a result, just gets melted by Rayla Lisa. In comes Canis Vulpes, pops the borrowed time, trying to do what he can. Luki falling incredibly low. They do get the kill, but Canis Vulpes, he's running low on mana. They get the disarm onto Templar. Creep caught up by the dust. B9 gets taken down. Gremlo's Pale Horse's buyback is being put to massive use here. Rayla, the projection, he's out. I was looking there. I was like, did Rayla Lisa just like attempt a meld in front of them? But nope.
Oh man, that astral projection, that bionic projection is just ridiculously annoying. 1 second channel time, you can dodge some good spells in that, and it's not the biggest buyback coming out from Arkosh. They find some punishment, still cost them a lot. They don't really manage to find the kills they'd want to. Still, you're seeing some moments where it looks really strong. I think Gremlo, once this BKB's up, he's going to feel a lot better in trying to make those plays. You don't need to worry about the line hex. You don't need to worry about control coming through. The physical damage is still great while Berserker's Call is down, though.
Ooh,
but they will smoke up around it.
They just double smoked. That as it feels bad. They're going to go ahead and see what they can try and catch here. Obviously, the TA would be the dream kill right now. There's still no BKB. You do have Aegis is the problem. That thing not timing out for another 2 minutes. Gremlo, that smoke's going to get popped on the high ground. He gets the blink out. He's safe. Unfortunate smoke gank there for the side of Arkosh. B9, though, rotating in. They do have vision of him. Slide chase, it critches the Creeps. Unlucky. Nice halberd play there onto the TA, but she's just going to kite this out. And now the rotation from Creep to Blade Mill. It's going to try to do what damage he can, but a call on the backside looking for Rayla Lisa. The Laguna almost takes down Creep, but he will survive at the end of the day. Canis Vulpes barely surviving. So far, the only hero to die is going to be Luki on this Slardar, but Yarn on the backside with a nice call, though. Comes in from Gremlo. So much damage against the kill, but Creep and Rayla Lisa, they jump forward. They take down two. A huge silence comes in. Rayla Lisa trapped for the moment. Pale Horse, can he find Ricky? He's doing his best, trying to burn it down, but he's not going to be enough. He gets the blink onto the low side. Rayla Lisa looking for these kills. He takes down a third. Projections out, and now it's just Pale Horse and Gremlo verse 3. They've got it back, right? There's no way you can do this. He gets the Manta off. Creep? If he gets the blink call, he just chops! B9 on the backside. Gremlo with the call, looking for TA here. He's out of refraction charges, but Pale Horse is out of mana, and he is out as well.
Ooh, that was a lot closer than I think I'd expect her for Arkosh. They managed to hold out. They had some really good plays. Great false promise coming true from Goat to stall out Canis Vulpes' death. And DogChamp, well, I think the one blessing there is that they don't lose their TA. They only lose Aegis, so it feels a little bit nicer, but the Axe is becoming an issue. You've got the Ags up now on Pale Horse, so Nihilism is up, and that could be big in breaking off these fights. And
Yule's call, that is a super dead fish. Gremlo on killing spree now. Nice find there, and all the tips come in. Shame. So here's the thing. I look at what Pale Horse is dying to, and it's mostly, or what heroes are dying to, it's mostly like Ricky and TA jumping the backside, right? So Leshrac, if he gets Nihilism off and just runs over to save his heroes, it basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Ethereal forms both TA and Ricky, right? Which could be enough to save your allies.
I think it will be. Like, you don't have any defensive items yet. The BKB is about to be formed up on our TA, but it's a bit... well, Ricky as well is almost there, so you will have BKBs to save you from that. at the least. And of course, you have the Abaddon to kind of aphotic shield it off, but it could catch you off by surprise. And at the least, you can save yourself again with an additional Ghost Form over the Ghost Scepter. So, oh, Gremlo.
Here's the thing, if you aphotic shield someone, it's still gonna keep them ethereal form, right? Because isn't it a constant aura when you press it? So it's like a 4-second aura that anything inside of it is being applied ethereal form. So that's the thing, unless you BKB, you can't get out of it.
Right, yeah, alright. So that's
Pale
gonna
Horse?
be big then.
Yeah. Speaking of Ghost Scepter, he's gonna turn around. There's your Nihilism being applied to the Slardar, falling so low so fast. Yule Scepter onto himself, just ran out of mana. He's got to be careful. Yarn rotating it from the side. There's gonna be the Hex. A nice bash stun, immediately saved there from Goat. The false promise to do so. Luki on the run, caught for a moment. Do they have the damage to finish him off? Gremlo's gonna find him. He gets the call. Laguna Blade even committed, and Yarn will get the TP out.
It's a nice escape coming out from DogChamp. You would have rather saved your Slardar, but you minimize your losses. A big counter rotation from Arkosh would have been devastating for DogChamp. You do manage to get the BKB up on Creep. So at the very least, the Ricky's not going to be affected yet by that Nihilism aura. And the BKB for Rayla Lisa's just about done as well, flying in now. So the two big cores are going to be sort of safe from it. Pale Horse will kind of just have to watch himself. I mean, he still gets the Ghost Form himself, which is great. I think that actually helps out Arkosh. Like, because they don't turn into ghosts, you can still get good calls on the act.
Cancels with a DD, chasing down Yarn, and another call. Easy setup for them. Chops him down, gets the kill. True though, true. What a good one. That's all. Like, what more is there to say, right? What more is there to say?
Not much. I think that speaks for itself. They do manage to find a bot tier 2 here in DogChamp's end, so they make something happen with that death. Open up the map just a little bit more, evening out map control by a bit. Next Roche, we're gonna find out soon. It is a quick one, 40 seconds. Arkosh should look to take that, give them a free Ag Shard of their choosing. And Aegis Cheese is always nice to have as well. They've got their first BKB up on Canis Vulpus. So now the Lion Hex control is not going to be as bad as long as you get that BKB off. Little DogChamp with their own fresh BKB sort of smoked up.
Yeah, they are. They're gonna run right into Pale Horse, and there is no chance of getting out of this one. Oh, he's able to be saved just in time by that Oracle, and Luki now falling incredibly low, pops his BKB, trying to disengage, but it's Tia on the backside looking for Goat. The Nihilism, it's saving him, it's doing the damage, but for now, Ricky's gonna trade his life, and that is a big loss. He's got nothing left. Luki on the backside tried to jump the 2, but Canis Vulpus, his BKB being put to good useless track. Can he survive this? No! Yarn and B9 managed to take him down. Canis Vulpus, couple more auto attacks. No! Ray Lisa is back. Canis Vulpus out of mana. He needs help. Crow, can he get on in here? Drops that LSA, but Canis Vulpus dies at the end of the day, and now it's Gremlo chasing after more, looking for Yarn here. Looks like he should get him. Triple kill for Gremlo at the end of the day. A 3 for 4 of these fights. Incredibly even.
It's not quite a big win for Arkosh. They still come out on top slightly, but not enough to give them a massive lead. And DogChamp, they still have a lot of damage in them. Those fresh BKBs did a ton of work installing out. They managed to still jump to here, so they needed to jump and force some awkwardness out from Arkosh. I think we need to see a little bit more from Pale Horse. Like, he's just not able to sustain himself despite getting these spells off, so some spell lifesteal will help. Going for the Octarine is going to help the cause. It's going to be a while until that's up. That's a lot of time DogChamp can look to keep playing aggressive like this with their BKBs. The Roshan is back up, and that could be something Arkosh will start to line up for. You do have a ramp ward here from DogChamp, so they're going to be aware of the movement into the Roche pit. You do get the scan off here from Arkosh, but not quite being started for DogChamp. They cannot allow DogChamp to take this Roche. The free Ag Shard is going to be really annoying, especially if they give that away to say Creepier or even Yarn.
Shame.
Or heck,
Shame.
even Luki's
Shame.
Ag Shard would be pretty darn nice with a Corrosive
Shame.
Haze. So it's really important for Arkosh to deny that off. And if DogChamp managed to sneak their way in there, we saw how fast they melt the Roche last time.
Yeah.
They've got the Orb of Destruction onto Ricky, so there's even more minus armor. They've got maxed out Curse of Haze. It's really just going to be a quick one if Arkosh don't make their move first.
I really do worry for Arkosh here. In the next like 5 minutes, you were picking up a double nullifier here on the side of DogChamp. Both Creep and Ray Lalisa closing in on theirs. Ray Lalisa actually very close, only 400 gold away. And this item is what I don't know how Arkosh can be able to deal with, because you do just have to have BKBs. These Ghost Scepters that they've been using, the Nihilism, all these different utilities aren't going to work anymore. They don't have Force Staffs. They have Yule Scepter. They've been relying on like Yule Scepters and Ghost Scepters to stay in this game. And suddenly these supports, heroes like, you know, Goat on the Oracle or even the Leshrac are not going to be able to survive the burst damage at this point.
Shame.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty risky once those nullifiers are up. It's not too far off as well. There's still some farm that has to be had here for Creep. Get his nullifier up. But it's still going to be really darn big, and you're already on the way there for real, Lisa. So you have to watch yourself. I think we've been seeing some good movement out from Canis Vulpus to get the disarms off, always targeting the TA first. We are seeing some good presence as well from Gremlo. It does feel like he needs more armor. He's going for the AC next to kind of try to tank up, get some more durability out from himself. Let's see if he can get it in a timely manner before the next big fight breaks out. At the very least, you want that plate nail up and running soon, so you will be a little bit more protected from that minus armor. Because outside of Berserker's Call, it feels like Gremlo just melts. Like if they are allowed to focus him down, even with all this high base armor an Axe has, it's just not enough to stop Corrosive Haze, stop a Deso TA, plus Orb of Destruction and Orb of Corrosion on a Ricky. Just still a lot of physical burst.
All right, they smoke up behind Canis Vulpus here. He does have the BKB. A ward up on the high ground just placed by DogChamp, so they don't actually see Gremlo quite yet, but his smoke is so close to getting popped. They're looking for Slardar. Gremlo's going in. Oh, he does not get the call off in time, and they will just disengage here, it seems, on the side of DogChamp.
Yeah, I think they were looking for a kill to go into Roche. They found one pick off that would have opened up that objective, but now DogChamp.
Slight chains on Slar. He gets the BKB off, but Axe gets the call. That Laguna Blade, that is an Axe Laguna Blade on Crow. So BKB piercing. We'll probably see Laguna Blade shard eventually, but Yarn came in really far here for the backside of the fight. This is what they want. The Oracle, the Nullifier doing its work as they get to kill Yarn. Not be able to survive this for long. And looking for Lina as well. Can they get another kill here? Slardar, BKB's done. Canis Vulpus tries to get away. He just gets critted. Absolutely destroyed. And now they're they're doing what they can on Gremlo, the BKB. They take down Ricky. B9, borrowed time is over. Nullifier out onto Pale Horse. He can't save himself, but he just walks away. They're going to jump forward. Gremlo, he gets the projection out. They don't have a stun to stay on top of him. And now Lukey, he's got a blink. But they're not going to let this go that easily. There's a trap here. He doesn't pop it. Okay. Just going to continue the chase, it seems. Looking for Lukey, juking down bottom into these trees here. LSA right on the money. Crow, well played. Mid lane, TA takes down the Oracle and then projects. All right, this spell. I remember talking to, or listening to Gunner on his stream a while back when they changed Aghanim Scepter, and he was saying how he thinks Blink Dagger just may not be like needed anymore on this hero. And I'm starting to see why he was saying that.
Yeah, it's pretty busted. Like, it's just so much mobility on hand. The channel time's way too low. I don't know why when you mouse over Psionic Projection, it says it has a cooldown of 30. I have no clue why it says that, because it's not a 30-second cooldown. It's a 10-second cooldown.
Yeah. You know, it's a game's in beta, you know, it's whatever. I love how, like, the 30-second cooldown doesn't even make sense, because it was previously 15. So, you know. I don't know how old that tooltip is.
Very old.
That's like the 7.28 tooltip, or like 7.27 tooltip or something.
Yeah, just way out of date, but it is what it is. Still, despite these kinds of losses, it's still even. DogChamp, they find a die back on the Oracle, but they only have a less than 1k lead. That's still on the TA, which has, you know, it's not the greatest late game carry, but neither is an Axe and Leshrac, you want to kind of divert that farm now to Canis Vulpa somehow, but he's just not able to survive long enough from that burst on hand. So there's a lot of back and forth still here. The Roshan still not being taken by either side. They have to watch for those traps as well from the TA, giving vision out. Pale Horse is taking a peek.
Ooh, Nullifier mid lane. He finds Lina. This is the thing, man. He just drops the trap right back where it was. He's like, okay, yeah, if a support walks over this, they're just dead. And now your hopes of maybe fighting around this Roshan are very difficult. Looking for Lesh here. They end up immediately going for the false promise. Blink stun in from Luki, holds Gremlo in place. The buyback coming in right away from this Lina. If they can get on top of Lisa, it's a big one. The Lesh just dead. Pops so much damage coming in, and the stuns over to Canis Vulpa. Pops the BKB, remnants himself away, but gets the evasion. Can he make it out? It's not going to happen, and that's Gem on the deck. They lose both their cores right outside Roche.
That's not good. Arkosh, some strange precision. Pale Horse just peeking in with a sentry. I mean, you should have expected that with the trap. Gets stunned up, and now the Roche just melts inside of DogChamp. Suddenly a 9k lead out for DogChamp. They leave the cheese. They're responsible, but they come back for it. And they get the free Ag Shard upgrade on themselves. They're going to have Ricky Ag Shard. They're going to have
Dart.
Sleeping Dart. Beautiful.
It is a very good ability. It's just one of those things where Ricky doesn't farm very quickly, so you, as a core Ricky, you really struggle to actually find the money to pick this up. But this game, he has Diffusal, Manta, BKB, queuing up Eye of Scotty, and now you just get a 1,400 gold influx for the Ag Shard that, utility-wise, is fantastic, right? It's a 4-second sleep and then a 4-second slow. Quite powerful at helping take down heroes like the Oracle on the backside.
Yeah, I think the issue for Arkosh now in these fights is that it relies on Gremlo getting these really big calls. He needs to jump in, he needs to take control ASAP, get his spins going. When you don't spin, you don't win. And Arkosh has just not been having that much luck with it. Like, he hasn't even had progression on the AC. He's been holding out for buyback here, just in case, and you're just not scaling the same way the TA is. Lisa's just already got the Swift Blink up, the Nullifier has been really helpful. The Ags has just been insane. And you're not seeing any major progression there. Oh, man.
Telescope, okay. That's actually a pretty big pickup for Arkosh. They do need this item quite a bit. Either hold it on Crow. Really Crow actually has Psychic Headband, so I'm assuming Oracle takes it. Yeah, he does.
It's going to be helpful to cast from afar, get that false promise off. I believe the Spell Prism is going out to creep, so the lower cooldown on Blink Strike, lower cooldown on Tricks. Even the Sleeping Dart being up a bit more is always helpful. And they're going to TP bot.
They're looking for Pale Horse. This is a big kill. There's a projection here that you can take, and he's going to walk right into it. He is not ready. Surprise, says Lisa. Pale Horse just melted.
Oh boy. This is really dicey now. DogChamp 16k behind. AC finally up on Gremlo. But you see the Ags flying through here for Luki. So he's got that added utility on the Guardian Sprint. Got the water coming through with the Slytherin Crush, along with giving that corrosive gaze. Down line once he gets Shard.
Mana Drain restores allies. I forget this is a talent. No one ever takes this one because everyone's like, I want to do more damage with Finger of Death. But in this game, it's actually pretty sick. Oh, a Timeless Relic. Okay. You know?
Oh.
The rich get richer. What can you say?
Yeah, you're just not finding that luck here for Arkosh. They have to hold their high ground, hold out against Aegis and Cheese, and their entire game just relies on the Axe. Gremlo just has to play perfectly, and that's easier said than done. It's just so difficult when you rely on Call, and you ideally have 25 talent to get that 100 AoE, but you're a long way off from that.
Luki, a 3-man stomp! Oh no!
Oh.
Shame.
That is
a shame.
That is indeed a shame. That is one of the worst times to DC, because I am confident that Yaren already would have blinked in and double stunned up Lina and Gremlo, and instead we're gonna get a BKB off on Gremlo here, and Lina might be able to just walk away. The question is, can Gremlo survive this burst? He is about to just get slapped.
Oh, So still a fairly tanky axe. He did get the Berserker's Call off, and he's got the AC, so there's a little bit more armor. It's not going to instantaneously melt, but see if he can wiggle his way out of this one.
Right, BKB still available, but he's feeling pretty tanky. He doesn't mind, and it looks like DogChamp ended up backing out of the base a little bit too scared.
Yeah, I can respect that. They weren't quite lined up. Yaren's position was a bit too far out to follow up with the stuns. It's a good engagement, or good initiation coming out from Luki, but follow-up was kind of lacking, so gonna be happy about that if you're an Arkosh. You get stall out a bit longer. They've only got to wait about a minute 20 for the Aegis to expire, so they just need to have some patience there before looking to get the kill on that TA. For now, though, they're kind of stuck in their high ground. They can't really go out to farm. They don't have any outer towers left. So it's going to be a lot more passive for them. They can play with the axe illusions out, shoving out lane, getting spins off. You would hope for a illusionist cape here for your axe, I believe, but they can't even reach the jungle camp, so they can't even find the rest of their tier 4s.
Absolutely. They're looking for Luki potentially bottom. No, can't do anything, but they get a blink call and find Ricky instead. LSA, everything dropped on him. He gets the BKB off. He survives with 90 HP, able to make it out. Gremlo didn't have the vision for the Culling Blade, or maybe it was on cooldown. It's hard to say. A nice two-man LSA. B9 almost goes down to the illusions. Forces that borrowed time, and I mean, it shows that Arkosh definitely has the damage, but they've got to take the fights on their own terms.
Yeah, if they get the initiation they want, it can really shape up. They can't be the ones jumped by Luki. They can't afford to be jumped on by Lisa with the silence on top. They need to be the aggressors, and they do smoke up. They're trying to venture outside that base, find a nice pick off while they can.
Luki pops the Trickster's Cloak, actually able to go invis for a moment, but Gremlo continuing the chase. If he gets the kill onto Luki here, there's the call. The Manta does come out. Gets the BKB though. Luki's pretty tanky. He's just going to go for the TP. They don't have any way to stop him. And another failed smoking from Arkosh. The second, if not third, at least this game.
Yep. Not quite panning out. They just don't have BKB piercing spells that they'd like to in that scenario. It does force a charge out from Luki. He's down to his 6-second charge, but I don't think it matters too much now for your Slardar. They also managed to pick up the Scotty on creep, so it's going to be a lot easier to keep kiting around the axe, keep kiting around the Lesh Rack, prevent him from running away. Speaking of that Lesh, you do have the Bloodstone up now for Pale Horse, so additional regen on hand. It's a bit late with Bloodstone, 42 minutes in. But if you do live long enough to find a couple of charges in, mana issues aren't going to be as big for Pale Horse. He just needs to win these fights. They just need to win a couple of fights here for Arkosh. And DogChamp, well, they just need to keep applying that control. The Aegis has expired. They're very close towards that Daedalus here on Rayla Lisa.
Yeah.
That is going to be pretty darn big once it's up.
It is. The question is, like, will he wait safe for buyback? Mid lane, they actually catch Luki, but the status resist inside his puddle. Too much to deal with. Also, Trickster Cloak, quite good. So much evasion, so much magic resist. I mean, this Slardar is going to be, I mean, I don't want to say impossible for them to bring down, but the commitment is going to be significant. One thing to note, Pale Horse did find a Minotaur Horn, which is probably the best jungle item he could have found, because he has been avoiding trying to go for a BKB this game. And multiple times he has died to the nullifier rotation of like not being able to get away from heroes. And now with BKB, it helps out quite a bit.
It's going to be pretty darn nice. You've got more protection for the Lesh, more opportunities to look for that counter engagement or just start these fights for Arkosh. DogChamp, well, I mean, we're 43 minutes in. They're still really farmed on Lisa. I think it's time to shift that farm towards creep. It's time to let the Ricky be your win condition. TA, I mean, it's still really darn nice. We have seen some answers come through from Arkosh. You do finally finish that Ags up on the axe as well. So you got that Berserker's Call upgrade with Battle Hunger on the called units, which drops their armor down and gives armor up for axe per target. So that's a lot more durability for our axe as well.
He also has a spell prism.
Oh yeah.
So he has a
Spamming his stalker.
5.7 second Berserker's Call cooldown. That is something. I actually haven't seen this Aghanim Scepter since it was changed from AoE Battle Hunger or whatever it was. That was kind of a meme, I feel like. So I like this one a lot, especially when you get 25 and you can pick up the Berserker's Call AoE. I mean, that is a huge game changer for Axe, I think.
You just need to hold out. Like, if you can stall for that level 25 spike, it's going to feel really good for Gremlo in terms of finally getting the control he wants in these fights. You do have the full Daedalus up in Raylalisa though, so if he shows up, gets one good crit, could be dangerous.
Oh, can they take down Luki again? The status resist is too much, and instead on the backside, they're looking for Yard. He went in. Saved by the Aeon Disc. Abaddon still has his borrowed time. Not going to be able to fall. BKB's committed on Arkosh. I feel like it's time to leave. They're in a little bit of a bad position here. Leshrac caught out nice. False Promise pops that Minotaur horn. Luki goes in too deep. Raylalisa forces BKB, but he takes down Oracle. The question is, can they trade? Raylalisa's got to be careful of the call. It catches them both. In comes the LSA. Do they have the damage? Raylalisa falling super low, but he's saved by Yaren. And he's just going to continue to disengage, but Kaysville was a nice slight change. So he plays another call from Gremlo. Is it enough? They finally take down TA. They get Lion.
Oh my god.
A huge win for Arkosh.
Oh boy, that is messy for DogChamp. Their tier 2s are also gone on mid and top, so you can look for a counter push now on the side of Arkosh. Force something out in the high ground. Next Roche is still a minute away, so rather unfortunate they can't really make a play for that objective. But DogChamp get a bit too eager, and the TA, I mean, it still feels strong, but you have to remember, the hero's kit is definitely geared towards the early to mid game. Starting to reach that point where it can taper off, although you do find a dieback on the Oracle.
Oh, they caught him. He has BKB not on anymore. It's cooldown for 17 seconds. They have the damage. They do. That's a dieback on your TA. Raylalisa, it was not worth it. Oh, no. That Roche is up in 30 seconds, and your TA is sidelined for 2 minutes. Gremlo mid lane calls. He finds Slaughter. He does have Cheese and a BKB. Nihilism coming out, trying to protect Axe. He's falling incredibly low. BKB is not going to get out. The Hex was too much. Pale Horse pops that Minotaur horn. What are they doing? They're just so separated from the rest of their team. Cadence Wolf is finally coming in with the help of Crow. LSA is there. The slight chains on the mark. Leshrac still managed to keep himself alive. There's going to be the BKB. The call from Axe holding Luki in place. Creep beating down. Leshrac does find the kill. He's buying back into the game. Creep. He's gonna be able to just jump on out of the fight. Luki trying to escape with the Trickster's Cloak, but there's gonna be that sick dust coming in. B9 with another save once again, and they cannot catch these heroes. Gremlo put to sleep by the dart, and instead they're gonna focus on this tier 3 tower. Canis Vulpus sends a remnant. Gonna TP back home, try and regen it up. Can they get the lane of Barracks? Luki with a nice blink stun. 2-man Earth Spike on the backside. They've got to be careful of Creepy's going in, trying to take down Axe, but he is so dang tanky. There's going to be the Laguna Blade. It does catch onto Ricky. He's falling incredibly low. If Arkosh can bring down Creep, it would be a massive win. Luki trapped in the center. LSA comes out. Can they take him down? He's falling low, but he's able to get a Yule's off. Is it enough? Luki, he does die. That's another 120 seconds dead on the backside. B9 goes down. 3 heroes down for DogChamp. They're managing to keep themselves alive. Gremlo pops the BKB. Blink call in just a second. Can they do it? They're focusing the tier 4s. Sleeping Dart comes out, putting Leshrac to sleep once again, but is it enough? TA still dead. Creep jumps in. Call off the mark. Finger of Death onto the Ember. Creep trying to do what he can, but they don't have the damage. They're focusing the throne. Arkosh, they want this win. They know this is their chance for Division 1 and Arkosh Gaming. They're doing it. They've taken the throne and they win the series.
Arkosh, they did it. Oh, Canis Vulpus with the easy at the end there. Definitely didn't seem easy here. They take a couple of good fights. They find the opening. They bounce back in. DogChamp, Raylalisa was doing a ton of work on that TA. The Ag's timing, the Ag shard, just enabling a lot of that movement out. Not quite enough. They stalled the game out for a bit too long there, right? Like, we reach 48 minutes. The TA feels like a hero that peaks by 35 to 40. So they kind of push their luck. At that point, the Axe gets level 25. In this case, Gremlo actually opted for the Battle Hunger damage, but that was really good in that fight because there were no creeps around. So he'd get the Battle Hunger AoE with a call on his Ags, and then they had nothing to kill, so they just burned down for this huge amount of damage. Their BKBs would be faded off. They couldn't find a way to re-engage, and Arkosh somehow cleaned it up. Like DogChamp, it looked good. They never progressed onto the high ground. They take too long to play while they were strong, and they just give openings to Arkosh.
I think one of the things that was interesting that you mentioned in the game, that they need to start transitioning their win condition to this Riki as opposed to, TA. She has 34,000 net worth. And when that hero's off the map for 2 minutes on that dieback, your team is so much weaker. And Arkosh just exploited that fact. They said, okay, we don't have an Oracle, but they don't have 33,000 of their net worth. So let's just fight them, and that shot calling, that the decision to just say, let's end the game now, incredibly smart here from Arkosh, is they managed to take the win and now actually put themselves into second place in the DPC thanks to the head-to-heads. Let me pull I have the ability here, I believe, to pull up the groups. Let me double check. But yeah, that was such an incredible performance. I think we're going to be having an interview after this. John, do you happen to know who or if or when what we're doing for the interview?
I'm not sure yet. I think our admin might be half dead. I'm gonna find out right now while we're looking at the group stage.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the bracket here. It is exactly what we talked about earlier, right? D2 Hustlers sitting 6-0 at the top, overall match record of 12-2. Arkosh and Team DogChamp identical records now, 11-3, 5-1. But because of the head-to-head, Arkosh do sneak into second place. And here's what it comes down to: is D2 Hustlers versus DogChamp. That is the important series. If DogChamp lose, it secures second place for Arkosh, is barring that they don't lose their final series versus 5-man Midas next week. So there is a couple opportunities for tiebreakers here. If Team DogChamp managed to beat D2 Hustlers, we have a 3-way tie for first place. So there is going to be some epic things happening no matter what regarding tiebreakers. And then at the bottom of the brackets, E-Boys will be going head-to-head against either Felt or Wind and Rain in a tiebreaker, since that is their last series. So there is going to be a tiebreaker for relegation regardless in the lower division here, but it's mostly the upper division or promotion that's on the line here that these teams are really looking forward to.
Yeah, and I do believe we've got our interviewee waiting. I'm not sure who it is, but I see him in the interview room. So if we want to drop down there and ask some questions, I think we can find out relatively soon who it is.
I think we can. Give us just a moment, everyone, as we jump on in there. It's always a blast. I'm sure this man will have some very intelligent things to say. All right, let's go jump in the waiting room. Well, let's see what's going on in here. All right. Let's get this all going up here. I believe we are blessed with a very special guest here for this interview.
Yeah, I think this is... I see it right now. He claims to be BSJ's lawyer.
Yes, this is what I've been told. We're waiting on the camera to load. It's taken a hot second here, but we'll be able to see his face in a moment, I'm sure.
Hello? I'm not BSJ's lawyer. I'm Jenkins.
You're not BSJ's.
No.
You're Jenkins.
Yeah.
Are you a different Jenkins from our...
No, I'm the
you
same
have a
one.
similar name.
No, I was
You're
here.
the same one.
Yeah, just like honestly, it was like 2 hours ago. I was here.
Yeah. How was the... I heard you had to run off for like an operation or something. How was that?
Yeah, so I got a bicep reduction, and some issues happened with my triceratops, which is also in there. And so I had to go back and get that. What's funny? I had to go back and get that dealt with. But I just want to clarify, I'm not here of my own will. I have been calling BSJ a sociopath. He's got very vicious lawyers. They've been coming at me, sending me emails, Gmails, Yahoo's, Hotmails, everything that you could possibly imagine under the kitchen sink. And this is why I have to do this, because he is associated with this team that I have nothing to do with. Sorry, guys.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm surprised you checked your emails. That's at least one person I know now that checks those things. I don't know what to ask you specifically. I guess, did you watch that game? Can I ask you something about the series there? Were you watching?
Yeah, I was
Were you
watching.
legally forced to? Okay.
No,
Okay. What did you think about? You watched
was-
on your own volition?
Yeah, I was watching on a flip phone. I was looking at the Dat Dota app, and so
I see.
in text it told me every single thing that was happening there. That's how I get all of my Dota content.
How many texts are you getting per second at the end of that game there? Like, that throne going down, there's a lot happening. Is it, how much are you paying for that on your data plan?
Jeez. I had to set up a Wi-Fi hotspot. So I had to hook that up to an autoimmune generator system that I have set up in my room. That's why this red light is like this. You guys probably thought this was funny demon joke. It's not. This is from the generator, the heat that's generated from to keep that data plan going.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I thought you were in a dungeon of some kind, but yeah, the heat from the generator
right
that
now.
would be a lot. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Now I gotta
Fair
ask.
enough.
I got a question for you here. Arkosh potentially going to D1. Are you disgusted by this? Are you excited about this? Obviously you've been following the NA DPC, of course. Big involvement here, but this is one of those teams where I feel like you either love them or you hate them.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't care. I want to tell you that the first time I met BSJ, I was in an elevator one-on-one with him. He defecated, he intimidated me, and he made me admit that this defecation pile on the floor was me. And I did. And I'm embarrassed to admit that. And that's how much this gentleman absolutely mortifies me. And that's why I'm here. I don't even know. I had to be told what Arkosh is before doing this. I had no idea this was even a thing. It's a really stupid idea, honestly. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Sounds like a mean fellow, that BSJ. Now, I know you were watching through the Dat Dota app. Did you expect this outcome for Arkosh? Like, I know you weren't aware of who they were, but while you were going into it, looking at game 1, did you expect them to actually take game 3 here? They dropped game 2. They picked the Pudge. Did you expect them to actually close it out?
So from what I heard briefly from BSJ, he spams me thousands of messages. I usually don't read them, but I caught a few at the end. I think Arkosh plays with absolutely zero expectations. I don't even know if they're as demons capable of any human thought that are along the lines of expectations, because that's quite a high level intelligent thought. And so I think probably they don't scrim. They probably just show up. I would assume Gremlo's even lured with cat litter, some sort of food that he enjoys to get these gentlemen to actually or gentle demons, I suppose, to show up and play. Did that answer the question?
Enough.
I don't remember what you asked.
Yeah. I don't remember either, but we went somewhere with it, and I'm glad I was there for the ride. I got another question. You saw on Dat Dota, were there any feelings when you saw the Pudge come out? Like, were you excited for what the demons had in mind? It's a very demonic sort of hero for them to play with.
So I would say if you went back in the replay and checked it out, probably Gremlo was actually playing Crow for the first few waves of that, because Crow probably didn't do his homework that he should have done. And so Gremlo had to probably, this is just obviously hypothetical, probably had to do the homework. And there's always a little bit of jealousy amongst Pudge players. Monkeys Forever, a lot of other players in DPC could attest to this. Whenever that hero gets picked and you play Pudge, you want to play it. Even if it's 1 in 17 feeding, you want to play it. You want to be the one feeding, because it's just such a great time.
Fair enough.
It is. I agree. As a Pudge player myself, I can 100% agree. It doesn't matter. Win or lose.
No.
Having a good time.
Everybody loses except for the Pudge. Everybody loses.
You lose in your heart, you still won.
Yeah.
For the demons, they don't have a heart, so maybe they're just mindless. I don't know. Maybe they just see Dota, play Dota. At the end of the day, they make it to D1. They don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to swap around the Pudge like that, I feel like you have to have no heart. But to pick the Pudge, you have to have no brain. So I don't know what they have.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm curious here, Jenkins. Is there any insights you've gotten from the threats being leveled to you? Anything that could give us an insight to the mindset of these? Well, they're mindless demons, but I don't know, their thought process, their systematic process in playing Dota. Is there anything that you can let us know from inside or empty husks?
Just a lot of memes, a lot of screaming, screeching, a lot of sending links to things. I don't know if you guys have heard of Meat Spin or Lemon Party. These are different sorts of little joke websites that you can send amongst your friends. They've got demonic versions of those, of course, of an erotic nature. That is the demonic or not demonic. That's still the problem there. And so I think that's basically the only thought process that goes into that team is pure unadulterated fuckery, you could say.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. Yeah. That's yeah. I'm with you. This totally makes sense. Yeah.
Thank you.
100%. I think that's all I can squeeze out from you legally. Ricky, do you have anything left here?
Talking about squeezing things out of Jenkins, I don't know. Do I want to follow that one up?
There's nothing in there. There's nothing in there. I can tell you.
Man,
it's not looking good with the sugar freeze.
Yeah. I mean, an incredible game. Definitely to watch, an incredible series. That was a fun one. Jenkins, if you...
I don't care.
Yeah, I'm just going to... This is my final question. Since clearly you're indifferent and who really cares about the Arkosh advancing. But any final thoughts on just Division 2 NA DPC as a whole before we, with the top 3 teams here?
Yeah.
Dope. All right. I appreciate the answer, sir. That was a good one. But any shout outs or praise for help before we let you go?
Shouts to Sir Action Slack. Shout out to Jake Canner. Shout out to my friend Slacks. All the techies players out there. Get a people slap in the chat. That's what I always say. It's what my friend Slacks always says.
All right.
Cryptic.
I appreciate that. All right, brother. Heck of an interview, as always, just as expected. Good luck out there. And thanks for joining us.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, it's a classic Jenkins interview. Do we expect anything else here?
Nope. Absolutely not. That is lovely to hear from him. Unfortunate to hear that the lawyers are ganging up on him, but I am relieved to know that at least one of us in the talent scene does read emails. That's very good to know from Jenkins, because he did have to receive them to know that he was under litigation. So fair enough.
Yeah.
Good news there.
NA
He
still
might
better
not
than
care
EU,
for
clearly.
Arkosh. Yeah, obviously checking all those emails. He doesn't care for Arkosh, but we have to care because it's our job. Arkosh have that shot towards Div 1. I'm excited to the certain extent because that means that the demons are going to be bullying me for another series and they're just going to lay on the all chat. But that's an exciting possibility there. Who would have thought that Arkosh could make it to Div 1? We had that bet. Remember?
Okay.
We had that bet with Neff.
There is a bet on the line with Neff. I want you all to know. We're not going to tell you the details of the bet, but if Arkosh make it to Division 1, oh boy, Neff is in for a terrible afternoon and some serious digestive problems. So keep your eyes out for those details later. But that's going to do it for us here tonight on the NADPC. This was an absolute blast, a hell of a series. See what I did there? And yeah, we're going to wrap it up. Before we let you all go, there is a very sick giveaway that's happening. So without further ado, let me explain to you what's going on. It's a BTS giveaway for a chance to win the XPG Xenia XE Gaming Lifestyle Ultrabook, as well as a keyboard and potentially some BTS swag. So if you guys want to enter for a chance to win, there's a link in chat and a banner below the channel. There's gonna be 4 winners and you have until May 23rd to enter. So a bunch of really cool stuff here. Make sure to enter that giveaway. All of these prizes, no matter what they are super value. So big shout out to XPG, our sponsor, and big shout out to BTS as well for running such a slick show here on the DPC.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, I'd just like to thank you for having me here. Ricky, this is our first time casting together. I think it went spectacularly well, considering that we were dealing with demons.
Yeah.
I think we couldn't have asked for anything better there.
Yeah, sometimes, you get dealt a bad hand. You have to deal with demons all day, but, we make it work. Just two gentle casters here having a good time. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I'm sure we'll be working again soon. And again, thank you everyone so much for tuning in and watching. We hope you enjoyed the series as much as we did. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow for more of the NADPC.